I mean, I have two, videographers that work for me, a photographer that works for me, and
are they like full time, or is it like as needed?
They have their desk in I wish they were full time. They do subcontract work too. They could be full time. My photographer's full time. Two videographers could be full time. I want them to be full time, but they do other side jobs and stuff like that. So they're in at their desk quite a bit, like almost every day. But yeah.
What does it take to keep things running? Like, do you run out of ideas, or does something always pop up?
Or just like kind of like your daughters help you out with like different like trends that are happening right now? Like, oh, hey, Dad, like we should do this.
Are they helpful in that way?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, it's in it because, I'm an old man, and so what do I know about like TikTok and all that stuff? I mean, we produce content every single day, vertical content on TikTok, and we actually have multiple platforms. So we have Idaho.
Have you always done that, by the way? Have you always produced every day?
I wouldn't say not every day on YouTube. Yeah. YouTube, I produce 2 videos a week on YouTube. So, and it used to be 1 video a week. Sometimes it was a little bit sporadic, but if you want to have success, before I came here, I looked up how many YouTube channels there are. There's 114,000 YouTube channels, 114 million. Oh, wow. Not 1,000. That would be easy.
I was going to say, we got a good shot, guys.
Yeah.
Very early on, for sure. Yeah.
114 million is what I saw on Google is what it said. And it said only 285 have made, over $1 million in ads, which is pretty interesting statistic too. But,
Are you in that category?
How do I categorize? Have I made $1 million
through media?
I've definitely made over $1 million.
Okay. Do you want to equate a number to that?
Yeah, so, I've been a successful painter. I would say, I was trying to, because I knew the question would come up. You guys want to know, everybody wants to know how much money I make. Yeah. And how do you define success? I don't define success by how much money I made. I think I kind of define success by, my family and how close my family is. But then if we want to get into, like the money side of things, I said earlier, I never thought I would own a house in my entire life. Not $100,000 house. I mean, I just never thought I'd own a house. And I think my house that I live in now is probably, I think it's worth like $1.3 million. I own my home. And that's a dream of a lot of people. I'm 56 years old and I own my home. I don't have a house payment. I mean, I have a cabin at Tamarack, and it's probably $800,000, cabin, and I own that free and clear. I don't have payments on it, and I have a property, that I'm building, some houses where multiple family members are going to live, and I own that. I own some other property, and I think that's successful. That's a lot of people's dream. My mother, the house she lives in, it's a reverse mortgage. So, she'll die and the bank is going to take it. Right. And so, YouTube has been this amazing platform that put my 3 kids through college and paid for everything. They walked out of college, no debt. And so that's a feat in itself, Sure. I'm so thankful for YouTube that it gave me that opportunity. I mean, my 3rd daughter's getting married, here soon. That's YouTube paid for that. YouTube paid for 3 weddings.
Do you chase a dollar amount, or do you chase the success and those things too, just like kind of coexist, or like?
And has that changed? Because when you first got that $75 paycheck, you're like, I'm gonna freaking make money on this.
Is the success first, or is the money first? Like when you put a goal out there, is it like, I want to solve a problem, I want to create an impact, or is it like, man, I could make $1 million doing YouTube? Is it that simple?
I was raised a thing that impacted my life, you know, I was raised and didn't have like anything. And my father didn't have a lot of money. I mean, he was divorced. We lived, with my father, and I can remember eating TV dinners and top ramen and, and for Christmas, we would get a pair of Sears Toughskins, and that was my Christmas present. And, we didn't go on vacations and we didn't do things. And I think the one thing, like when my, mother-in-law died, my motivation was to be obsessed with working and provide a life for my wife and my kids that I didn't have. Right. And so I got obsessed with working and buying toys. And, we had quads, we had snowmobiles, we had like all these things. And I wanted to provide them with a life, that was happy. I mean, that's not going to bring happiness. It's what I got wrapped up into. Mm-hmm. And it's probably not the best thing, but it's what drove me.
Like, is there always the next thing? Are you always chasing the next thing? Does that ever end, or is it ongoing?
Or is it just like clockwork, like on to the next video?
Maybe you don't put that much thought into it and you just keep going.
Yeah, it's like, man, my mind, like it's the same. Like I was competing in CrossFit and having success doing that, and I got injured, and now I'm like, I can't CrossFit now. I don't think I can compete. And so now I'm on my bicycle riding and and like thinking I'm going to race again someday. But I think I'm trying to change that mindset. And I told like my wife today, it's like, and I'm obsessed with like fishing and stuff. And I think one of the biggest mistakes I made in my life, and I think when Matt texted me, is like, would you change anything? And, it's always been on to the next thing and my excessive compulsive behavior. But if I could change anything, it would be, to just slow down and to, not be so focused on myself and be focused on others.
So is that the next ideal? Is just like a chance to like slow down and like breathe and take things in?
Yes. Yeah. And so I have a grandson now, and he's a year old. And so I'm like trying to tell myself, Chris, you got to like slow down, because you got one grandson and you're probably going to have, more, and, be more focused on, spending time with them and my family. I've got, 2 son-in-laws, another son-in-law coming. I really try to spend time, with them now instead of doing, things I want to do. I'm trying to focus my life and habits on doing things with them.
Do you feel like you're present when you're with them, or has that been something you've had to figure out? Like, is your mind somewhere else, or do you have to like direct your energy?
I would say I'm learning that. That's like, when I would be, with people, like my obsession is like the next race, the next event, the next video, and trying to be present, with the people that I'm with is probably a goal of mine. And I think my grandson is teaching me, a lot of that. Yeah. And when he's around, and he loves like being around me, he's named after me. And so I'm like committed to like changing my life to being a little bit different.
What does that transition look like? Is there a time frame as far as like moving into a slower paced life? Like, do you plan on doing the YouTube forever? Do you plan on like giving that up to somebody else, or like maybe just putting a cessation to it? Or is that something your family will take on?
Yeah, it's, I think the ultimate goal, the goal's been to sell the brand Pay It Life. The Idaho painters, I sold my painting company, did really well doing that. And if I could sell, Paint Life, the brand, Paint Life Supply Co. That would be the ultimate goal. My two daughters, work for the company, and they want to be mothers, and so they would like to transition out of it and become moms, which is what my wife was a stay-home mom, raised our kids, and so I would like to just, eventually sell the company, retire, spend time with my wife, my children, my grandchildren, and enjoy them. And then if the company sells, it would just go to the kids that work building the business.